So the first use case that we're going to take is something called dynamic contract generation or dynamic certificate generation. In this case, what I planned is we can have a few things. One is, let's say, if someone, this is an example of certificate generation. This could happen a contract generation or document generation as well. So let's say, in case if you wanted to generate a certificate for someone who attended a program, who attended your school, college, office, or something like that, one admin or a requester can fill a form. Then there is a Google Doc designed which has variable defined inside it, right? The doc can be connected, it can be generated a full length good template. Finally, that template can come out into a PDF format right from Google itself, and then it can be sent to someone via their respective emails, right? So this is a basic process that we can look out. And again, I'm telling you, like, it's not just about certificate, it can be any other use case, any other certificate, contract, agreement, and so on. So for example, this is our like I created a dummy agreement. This is our company called GrowStacks, and how we get into any one of these in the contract. So let's say I'll say automation solution agreement and non-disclosure agreement. Here, when we try to put things, we put it like to whom this is created for. It's for a client. So we put it like, let's say Paul Crawley, one of the client is there. Then his company name, his client address. There should be a date given to it. Then furthermore, we say service provider is GrowStacks, client is this. So their values should come out here. Then services, term of payment, start date, end date. Then there's something called how much is the total amount of that particular contract. I just kept it minimalistic. Otherwise, these agreements are like quite long, maybe about 10 pages, 20 pages long, which has multiple variables, multiple things putting in from different systems. Then we have a signing part at the bottom, right? So this is a basic contract that we generally send to any person who would like to work with us, right? A kind of dummy format. Now, what if I wanted to maintain some sort of a centralized tracker where I say, I got, let's say, 20 client requests or 20 contract requests. I'm just putting information somewhere in the centralized database. It can be a Google Sheet, it can be a ERP, or it can be any other software into even a CRM as well, right? Where you just store all these information. And on a trigger, this whole contract can be created, all values can be filled, and it can create me PDF, it can send things out to the respective people. So what I can do is, initially, I have this entire thing. Now, see, when you try to do automations, automation is not something which you just think and then you can make it work or you can bring it to life. You need to know the fundamental of software with which you are working along, right? So, for example, if you are working with Google Sheets or Google Docs. Now, in case if I wanted to have this kind of a template and values as placeholder, how to even put these values into a Google Doc? So, essentially, what Google Docs says, if you want to create a template, put all the values into these two curly braces here and here, right? So whatever you define over here, in case if you try to make this document with API or let's say replace values into these placeholders, you have to put placeholders like this, these two curly braces. If you miss out, let's say only this particular part, or maybe if you miss out something like this, it will not going to work. So essentially, this is the primary format with which you can work and make things happen. Now, second is, let's get into Google Sheets and I'll try to set a basic stuff and then we'll jump into make.form. So essentially, we will go step by step on this entire build-up. Okay, so what I'm doing is I wanted to create a contract creator master or contract creation master where I'm going to put multiple of these contracts and I can say I want to do merge of these values into a particular Google Doc. So essentially, I don't want to open this document and try to figure out, okay, where to put client name over here, then furthermore go down over here and so on, right? This document may have client name reference at 10 different places. I don't want to search and copy paste all the time, right? So essentially what I did, I defined a variable and I say wherever this client name has to be put in, just put this variable, right? And values I want to store into Google Sheet from which it can drag or grab all the values on my command, on my demand, and then it can fill them at once. So we are just trying to establish the base fundamental level infrastructure, and then we'll get into automation, how to connect these things together. So here we have client name. Then the second variable I would have put in is something called client company name. I can go here, I'll say client company name. Then the third variable is client address, right? So I'll go back, I'll just put one more thing here. And why I'm doing this, because this is a standard format of my agreement, right? Then I'll say date. I can simply put date or maybe let's say contract date, something like this. Then here I have furthermore couple of variables which is start date and end date. So I'll just pick it and I'll put something here. Same way over here, I can say start date, end date. And there is final one more thing called total amount. So just go here and I'll say total amount. Now, once I do this entire table fill up, what I want is, or maybe let's try this. I'll just show you quickly and then we'll move next on the further steps. Let's make it a proper table. Looks good. And now we can get into make.com. So essentially, whatever information I'm going to put here should be filled out into that particular Google Doc and will create a new document file. Now let's get into make. Okay, here we are into test cross tags. I'll create a new scenario. Okay, by the way, this document would have been stored somewhere. Let me see, where is this? It's into my drive. Okay, let's try to move it into some folder. I can create a new folder that can be something called contract master. Right, so we got one new folder over here. And this document, I can say it's a template, should get into that document or contract master. See here, we got the contract master, move, and this would have moved into this. Perfect. That's great. This is also good. And now I can bring things here. See this. Let me just try to showcase you something really quickly, and then we'll get into this Google Doc part. So document, Google. See here, we got something called Google Docs. Now, if I click on this, what happens? It has a couple of things: watch document, list document, get content of a document, create document, which can create document from scratch, from zero, without any placeholder or something. Just below that, there is something called create a document from a template. And what it says, creates a copy an existing template document and replace any tags which is between these two curly braces, right? At the start and the end. Now, it like you can put values like this, not found, a name, email, and so on. This module will also allow to users to replace images by new images with URL, right? So we'll see that part as well. But for now, let's choose this one. Right. Over here, it'll ask me to create connections. So my connection, I can take 6 September, the latest one. I can click continue because this may require some extra permissions. Earlier, the connection we did would have been for Google Drive or only Google Sheets. But for this time, we are trying to use Google Docs. So a basic permission approval, it's all good. Done. 6 September connection is working fine. Now it is asking me what is your document ID. So I can go ahead and maybe search it from the whole list of the documents. Okay, here we have contract master. I can choose this one. And then inside this folder, we got client agreement as one of our document. Now, see what it says. If your document has any of the tags like this, then only it will be considered as a template. Template means Google, see, while you build this whole document, you don't have to define that it's a template. As soon as you put any of these curly braces values, any of these tags, Google automatically thinks that this document is going to be considered as a template, right? So that is also mentioned over here. And if you see, I scroll down, wherever I have put in any placeholders, they all came here as a mappable value. Client name, client company name, city, whatever, address, date, start date, end date, and the total amount, right? So that's what is happening here. It automatically captured all of those placeholders for me to map any values, right? Then I can go down. If required, I can map any images. I can give it a new title, a new location, as well as I can also select like which folder they should get into. So this was a basic thing. Now let's cancel it. And before this, how we're going to get information? Obviously from our contract master, or maybe from email or whatever you want. But essentially, we're going to get information from some sort of database or some sort of data inputs. So I can double click and add one more module that's called Google Sheets over here. In this case, I can either do watch raw, I can do search raw, anything is fine. I'll go with search because that's the most common basic thing. And let's move this trigger from here to here because I want to start from this particular first module, right? Now let's get in, choose the connection one more time. And over here, I wanted to select this contract creator master. So let's try and search that. See, contract creator master came. Then what I want, sheet. There is only one single sheet available there. All good. And rest everything is fine. I don't have any line, any data over here. So it's going to run blank for now. But as soon as I try to put any data, it'll start getting some values over there. So I'll say there is a client called Paul Crawley. His company name is called the Net Return. His address is maybe street number 2, Meltron, New Jersey. And then this is his entire address. Then I can say contract date, on which date we are going to sign this contract. So I can say it was supposed to be signed, let's say on 15th of September 2025. The start date of this contract, the actual service date is going to be 1st of October 2025. and the end date can be 31st December 2026, something like this, right? And the total amount of this contract can be, let's say, $45,000, something like this. Yep. So we got this basic data over here. Now, if I go back to make and try to run this, only this module is going to work. And let's see. See here, all these information came out like this, right? Fairly straightforward. You already did many times this thing, right? You put some data and the data is getting in over here. Now I can map it, and then what I say, let's add or map values to this given particular doc, right? So I can go to contract master. I can just choose that one more time, client agreement, and now it is going to pick all the values which have placeholders. Perfect. See here, it came. Now I can simply map them. Client name is here, client name. Client company name is over here. Address is over here. Date of this agreement mapped. Start date mapped. End date also mapped. And total amount is also being mapped over here. Now it is asking me what is the title of this new document which you're going to create from these dynamic values. So I can say contract with, and then I can either put a dash and I can map this value. See here how this works. So in case if you're going to give this kind of title or something, you can always have combination of two things. One is your static value and a dynamic value. So it'll always say contract with Manish, contract with Paul, contract with someone else, right? A, B, C, D and all. So that's how it can map. Now, along with this, it is asking me, where do you want to store this newly created document? So I said into my drive, that's all fine. But what is the folder location? So I can simply go here and say, I want to store it into contract master itself on the same folder, right? So let's click save. And if I try to run it once, let's see what happens. Earlier, this was a blank document with placeholders. Now it is taking a little while. Okay, perfect. And we are to this. Okay, see here, I just refreshed it and I got this doc created, contract with Paul Crawley. And over here, along with all these other placeholders, the doc is created for the net return. Even the address came over here, street number 2, Meltron, Jersey, New Jersey, and so on, 15 September 2025. All these values got replaced by the values which we have inside our Google Sheet. The value is $45,000. Even wherever we had repetition, they all got automatically filled by this small integration, right? Now, let's go a little beyond this. So what I want is, once my doc is done, I don't want to get into this Google Drive and see or check out what's happening there. I can just add two more fields over here. One field is, I'll say doc link, and second is I also want to put this document into a PDF format. So I'll say PDF file link, right? And finally, if I want to send it to the Paul Crawley or maybe to the person via an email, I just want to say an email address can also be added over here. So email ID, something like this, right? Email ID for now, I can say test@growstacks is the email. I don't want to send it to Paul actually, but over here. And now with these two values, how we're going to get this doc link as well as how we are going to convert this into a PDF file. These are two important questions. So first of all, if I go back, see what happens. As soon as I create this document, what happens over here? The Google Doc is going to give me a couple of links, and one of them is something called web view link. Web view link means this is a document view link which someone can click and it can simply open as a document in front of them. The second part is how to convert this into a PDF. So if I add another module over here, within this Google Doc itself, there is a module that is called download a document. And then it can also allow us to choose which format I want to download this doc. So for example, if you get into Google Docs, see this was Paul Crowley, this entire thing. If I click on file, you get to see download options over here. And there are plenty of them. One of them is called PDF as well, right? So what I can do is I can go here. I'll say download a document is something what I want. Now it is asking me, first of all, tell me which document you want to download. That's an important question. Why so? Because this document ID is going to be dynamic all the time. Whenever I create a new doc, it'll going to give me a new document ID every single time. So I don't know which document ID I'm going to put here. What I can do is a very basic and really good feature I would say with Make is you can do dynamic value mapping over here. So if I click on map, see what happens? This became a mappable field. If I turn off this, now it is a normal field, like I can choose a particular file, but I don't want to choose a particular file. I say this file is always going to be dynamic. So I simply click on map and I click on this document ID and see what happens. Just as soon as I click on that, the values which were generated by this doc with this, all they comes over here in a proper sequential manner. this module is going to give me a document ID as well. So I'll say I want to download this particular doc which is generated by this module, not any other doc, right? So it's a sequential manner. Then it says what type of download you want. So I can simply go and I'll say I want to download this into a PDF format. So let's click on PDF and let's click save over here. So now this thing is going to get me a PDF downloaded on make.com, or Make is going to grab this PDF. Now, once PDF is out from this Google Doc, what I can say, I want to keep a copy of this PDF into my same Google Drive folder. So I click on this again, I go and I'll say on my Google Drive, I want to upload the PDF which is downloaded by Google Docs, right? So let's click on upload a file. Over here, we got everything good. Let's see. In this case, it says enter manually or select from a list, like which folder I want to upload this particular file. So I'll say select from a list. If I click on this, I have this contract master folder in my Google Drive. I choose this one. And as soon as I do, or even as soon as I open this module, see what happens. This particular module already know it requires a file to upload. And if there is a download folder, or if there is a file folder, or sorry, file module, which already, let's say, allocated or sequenced anywhere before this, it will automatically or intelligently link that particular file and say, okay, mapping is done. You don't have to do anything else, right? So you can simply say, click save over here. If you see the error, just open it again and save it. The error will go. And at the last, once my document is created, it's being downloaded inside make.com, uploaded on Google Drive, I want to add all of these values updated back into my Google Sheets, right? So I click on this Google Sheet. I'll say update raw, and then obviously I can refer this particular Google Sheet which I wanted to run through. So let's choose the sheet, and here I can either say contract creator master. Over here, I can put sheet name as sheet 1. Raw number I can take directly from the first module, which goes over here. Raw number is this, because I want to update the same value, the same line which gave me basic input values. Now over here, I have two things to update. One is document link, second is the PDF file link. So if I click on this doc link, you all know we saw that it has a web view link. So let's get in here. This is the web view link from create a document from a given template. So I choose this one. PDF, I can take the similar link from Google Drive, because Google Drive is going to contain my file. And see here, there's something called web view link from Google Drive as well. That's done, right? So both the links are going to be updated back into the same Google Sheet. Let's click save. And finally, I say, I wanted to send this file to someone or to that person that your contract is ready, please see and maybe sign it, accept it, or so on. So I can add another module that is called an email module. Add it here. Maybe I can go with Outlook this time. Outlook 365. Here is something called create and send a message. Let's choose this one. The subject line, I can go with a subject line called contract is ready for review dash the person's name. So let's go down, down, down. Until this point, I can just put a client name as a variable, right? Body content, I'll say, hey, the person name, which can come over here. Hey, Paul Crawley. And here I can say, please find, it's a basic attached document, attach the contract document for your reference. Take a look and let me know if this is good to go. Thanks. And here I can put my name, Manish. Now, along with this, I also wanted to define like who's the recipient. So let's choose this one. I'll say email recipient or email address of the recipient person is coming from column H, if I'm not wrong. Let me see. Oh, sorry, column J is over here. So it's going to come from column J. Why it is not coming in here now? Because we run it only one time. So it did not capture values or headers of these columns, but I'll say, okay, column J is fine. Then there is something called attachment. Click on this and it is automatically taking this attachment from Google Doc, download a document. And that's fairly straightforward. Only the part is this email may not render properly. It may come like a paragraph because we haven't defined it as an HTML structure. So what I can do is, in case if you're sending emails to someone, emails are by default go, or let's say crafted into a HTML format because they all render on different web applications or say web interface. And that's where HTML is one of the strong, or let's say a right format layout where you can put tags and define or structure this whole email into a proper version or into a proper manner. What I can do is, currently I just wrote it as a basic language. And if I try to end it, it will come as a cumbersome paragraph. Let me try to show you and then we'll get into more advanced setting of email as well. So let's click save, open it one more time, click save one more time, and that's done. I'll say save over here. Everything looks good. Let me delete this particular agreement, which we did earlier. Remove from here. And now I can go into this. I can say run once. And let's see what happens. First, it is going to create this doc. Download is done. The PDF is being uploaded. Status got, see here. Now, okay, they were like very much. We got two links, the doc link and the PDF file link. If I click on this, simple choose and open. And here it is, contract with Paul Crawley. All of his basic information that we saw earlier as well. It's all coming like this, right? Apart from this, if I click on this PDF, let's choose this and see here, this whole PDF format also came out into this .pdf format, right? And along with this, this should have been sent across to Paul Crawley or to this email as well, whatever we defined on the particular sheet. See here, this email came just now at 12:41, 12:42. Hi, Paul Crawley. Please find attached the contract document, whatever, for reference. Take a look and let me know if this is good to go. Thanks, Manish. And if I preview it, it is the same contract which we sent to Paul over there. So it is, this particular use case is way more or beyond what we generally see as a mail merge, right? You can take multiple steps and you can make it like a more comprehensive automation workflow. What, like, it's not just a basic value mapping here and there. It can go above and beyond certain point. So see here, when we started, I showcase you a very small, quick presentation over here, right? These are a couple of steps that going to follow. And it was a certificate generation use case, but same way it can be used for the contract or these kind of agreements and so on. So someone is putting a request into a Google form. Instead of Google form, we directly put the data into our Google Sheets, right? So that's the first step. Second step, we are going to generate this doc, so connecting with Google Docs. Third is we are going to download this as a PDF. And fourth is we are going to put this on an email and deliver it to someone, right? So this is how the entire sequence. Someone asked, how can we put an image or maybe a logo inside a document? Now, for example, let's say if, and just think aloud a little bit, right? It's not exactly what you'll see here, but let's say I go into this particular document and imagine if, okay, maybe let's take another example. Otherwise, this will be confusing for all of you. So here I say generate certificates, and the certificate generation would have some sort of image. So I'll say a student name, course name, and something basic like his photo link, image link or something, right? And some sort of a date or something this, right? Then I can go here. I'll show you something from a start, from scratch, 0 point onwards, right? So I go to here, this Google Doc, and I can say here, certificate of completion. I'll not make it very beautiful or something. Just try to grab it in the least way, whatever we have. It's all good. Now here I can put a student name. And see, this is how we generally map things. I'll say student name, and then here I can put two curly braces. I'll say there's a name. Now these fields can be whatever way you want. It can be structured. I'll say course name. It's going to be two curly braces, and I have to define some value. Let's say course, right? And then here I can say student photo, right? Now in this case, what I can do is simply I can place one image over here, and that image is going to work like a placeholder. So in case of images, in case of logo or any photo, I don't want to like have any placeholder over here. I'll say image or something, nothing like that, right? It's fairly straightforward. Now let me get in here. Let's say this is one of the image that we created in last session. I'll put it like this. Maybe let me reduce the size of it. And here I say the student photo supposed to come like this. And let me do one more thing. I'll say let's add two fields instead of this. Let's insert a quick table. You can always make it beautiful, all upon you, but just think about this, right? So name can go here. Same way, the course name and the course value goes over here, something like this. These two values are here and this image is over here, right? Let's make it into center, student photo. They should also get into center and so on. Now, whatever image size I'm putting here, it's going to be the same way, or it's going to be the same size, which the next coming image will follow, right? So let's say I have just put in student photo link. Now this becomes my dynamic document, or kind of a, let's say a certificate of completion. The name is called certificate of completion. I go back to make.com automation workflow, and here I can quickly change a couple of things. And one more good thing, see, if you try to let's say build or rebuild something within this automation workflow, you can simply copy and paste let's say structure like this and reuse it. So I can move my trigger over here, and then I can say this time I wanted to go with and the sheet inside this that is called certificates. Rest everything is good. Click save. Google Docs. I wanted to have this certificate of completion. Let's move it into that contract folder. Okay, it's already there. Okay, contract folder is already there. That's fine. Then I want to just remap this thing. So this was the file that I created, but now I just simply remap it to the next format, which is called certificate of completion. Let's choose this. This time, see closely. It will have two variables as value, one variable as image. It says image URL, right? Now, here is the name. So I can put name as, let's say, Steven, uh, Josh, and then course, what he would have done, maybe, let me do this way. The student is coming from A, course is coming from B, and it says image URL. Now, image URL should be an open image URL like how we did on image kit. So here I can say his photo link goes over here, right? And then contract, or instead of contract, I'll say certificate of the student name coming in here. Then obviously the certificate can also get into the same contract master folder. I'll say click save. This is also fine. No need to change anything. This is also fine. No need to change anything over here as well. And rest all good. We are not going to send it to anyone for now, right? Let's click save. If I put any information here, I'll say Steven, Josh is one of the student. Let's make it a quick table. Always follow these basic practices. Otherwise, your automation will look really ugly or will not be able to, like people not be able to understand. So try to do this. Now I'll say automation mastery program, something like this. Now, student photo link. How I'm going to get this? So I can say I can go to image kit, and on image kit, I will try to get one of the students' photo. Now, this link should have been always a publicly accessible link, right? So let's go down, 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 down. Who's the best fit over here? Strange. We got multiple photos, but okay, let's try to grab one of them. Maybe this guy. Right click, copy URL. I can put it into this and all good. Now, if I run this automation, let's see what happens. So wherever the trigger is, see earlier trigger over here, trigger was over here. And now I just put trigger into this one. So it got the automation workflow starting with this one. Like within one automation use case, we can have multiple such module sequences, but it will work only with wherever the trigger is. Since this is generated, I can go back and let's take a look over here what came out. Certificate of Steven Josh. Let's click on this and see what happened. The photo also came. In the same way, you can have logo. You can get designed anything. So Steven Josh, Automation Mastery Program, and the student photo is over here. This certificate, oh, generally this doesn't work in some way. Let's try preview. See here, this file came like that, right? So that's where you can even have things dynamically, or even logos can be put in somewhere and they can build out. And even you can put multiple images as well. So multiple means, let's say if you are not just putting one, but for example, if you are copy and okay, maybe I'll have to drag and drop this. So if there are multiple images, this placeholder or this particular module will have multiple image mappings available for you. See how we did any projects over here in this case. Many times there are people, or there are, let's say, interior designer agencies, or let's say people who are doing architecture work, right? So they wanted to put multiple images about any model they created or any sort of drawing they created for any client. So they just simply put multiple links over here. I'll say, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 links. And they say, put me 5 links as a placeholders or 5 images as a placeholder. And all of these images should be attached to that particular client contract. So yes, that happens automatically with multiple images as well. Okay, so with that being said, the first part is done. Second is, you were asking about, can we use email signature, right? So I'll go here and let's move it towards the top. In case of email signature, see, you have to do one thing. Currently, you look at this, I defined a whole format, the whole content over here. You can either put your signature like this. So it can be my email, my phone number, website, and so on, some sort of title, right? So these things I can put within this and it can work like a proper signature. In case if you wanted to go with a little more better thing, let's say more beautiful HTML kind of design signature. So what I can do is I can simply put this entire thing into maybe GPT or something and ask it, get me a beautifully designed HTML kind of signature, which looks decent on my, let's say, wherever the email get displayed. The only thing is, what you have to do, currently this body content is into a text type, and it is just getting into a whole text bundle. So if I open this email, see what happened. Even though I had all the spaces or new line over there, but everything is being written as a single line or a single paragraph. If I go back, how this can be controlled, I just have to click on show advanced setting. And over here, as soon as I do, there is something called body content type. Is it HTML or a text? So by default, it goes in as a text. But if I turn it on as an HTML, now I can put more placeholders. So placeholder means I can simply say BR like line break, right? So I can put a break over here. I can put a break just to make two lines breaks over here, something like this. So these breaks should come in case I want to make something bold. I can simply say put a tag like B and then the closing B, or a strong and the closing is strong, something like this. So these things are going to make the whole structure as a well formatted HTML. Or what I can do is let's remove each of these things and simply go to GPT. Let's cancel it. But essentially, we should send this email as an HTML, not as directly plain text. The plain text is going to deliver something like this. Now let me go to GPT and let me ask it to format everything. Help me format this email into a well-designed HTML format. Keep the signature part professional and good looking. Over here, I just defined everything. I'll say title is director. Company name is, let's say, Rostax Automation Solutions. Then we have phone number. I'm just putting a couple of things just to showcase you how the signature is going to look like, right? And so, right? Website. Also, I said triple dot W's rostax.com. Now, if I hit enter, let's see what happens. So here is a well-designed HTML structure along with a professional signature. And GPT will write this fairly fast. Okay, all good. Click copy code. And in case you want to have visualization of HTML, you can always go and say HTML parser online. Right, so this is something which help you to visualize or view your HTML. So if I put it here, see, this is something how it's going to look like, right? Now, if I simply copy and paste this entire HTML code back into my make.com, this module, what it will does, see here, this whole HTML is there along with any mappings which I wanted to do. So I said, hello, this client name, and rest everything goes like this. Now, if I say save and I try to send this email, I just click and let's try to send it. I don't have any attachment. That's all good. Client name can be Paul Elliot and click okay. And this is also supposed to be a test at growstax.com, right? Okay, I think I'm missing some value, but essentially, if I'm going to start it from here as well, it will deliver this email into a well-defined HTML structure kind of thing. The only stuff is design the HTML and map any values which are customized or let's say mappable into the whole automation workflow from the previous modules. That's the whole idea. But essentially, earlier it was like this. And now if you see contract is ready, it looks like this. Way more better formatted with this entire contract and everything. So hello, Paul Crowley. And obviously, you can design it in any ways you want. It was just a quick example, but here is my signature as well.